Hello, and welcome to the channel Lifestyle and Fashion Tea. I want to get into the frustrations and fear of erasing history voiced after artifacts returned from African American History Museum. Artifacts that were not asked to be returned. This was done only on Trump's order. An exhibit of Black Power movement at the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture, April 4th, 2025 in Washington, D.C., President Trump has said he will be reviewing Smithsonian exhibits for bias against American values. Wow, the audacity that he will try to erase history. But none of this should come as a surprise to any of us. So let's get into the article. Several artifacts are being removed from the National Museum of African American History and Culture, according to the owners of the artifacts. And let me say, if you have not visited this museum, you are truly missing out. This museum is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. You've got to go check it out before he decides to just maybe tear it down. The removals come after the Trump administration issued an executive order to remove pieces of history from Smithsonian museums in Washington, D.C. The owners of some historical objects inside the museum tell News 4 their items are being wiped from displays. Some visitors were shocked to see some gone, saying they strategically planned their visits to be able to see the most artifacts in case some were removed. Civil rights activist Reverend Amos Brown says he was recently notified 2 of the artifacts he loaned to the museum would be returned to him. He described one of the books written by Reverend George Washington Williams in 1880 as a precious and most historic book and the first history of the Negro race. The other book was a Bible he took to demonstrations with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Jesse Jackson. Let's take a listen to civil rights activist Reverend Amos Brown stating that he, in fact, did not ask for any items back that he loaned to the museum and that he was quite upset.
Institution is starting to move out some artifacts from the National Museum of African American History and Culture. In fact, a civil rights leader and pastor said that he was told the artifacts he donated to the museum were being returned. Our Alexis Wainwright has the full story.
2 employees with the National Museum of African American History and Culture told me the museum is moving out some of its artifacts. Now, this news has ignited growing concerns among visitors who travel from all over the world to learn about African American history.
So I'm not disappointed. And it's unfortunate that people don't realize that if you don't know history, you will repeat history's horrors.
Reverend Dr. Amos Brown says he has seen it all. He's been a civil rights activist for 73 years and has been on the front lines of history. But now he feels some of the history is being erased. He received an email from the Smithsonian Institution this month informing him the artifacts he donated to the National Museum of African American History and Culture were being returned. The artifacts included a Bible Brown carried during the demonstrations with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Jesse Jackson, and a copy of History of the Negro Race in America, one of the first books on racism in the U.S.
His honest excuse was because they were under too much light.
And to be clear, you never asked for these books back, correct?
No. I called him, told him how unfortunate, how illogical it was.
We went to the museum Saturday afternoon to see the exhibit where Brown, the Bible, and the book were once featured. Do you know where the Bible originally was? Was it over here?
It was right there to the
Was it in
left
the glass?
of the narrative.
But we didn't see it. Brown said those artifacts have been with the museum since it opened in 2016.
We're not going to let nobody tell us what we can't read and what we can't celebrate as our artifacts.
He also said the lunch counter where the students from North Carolina A&T sat down and started the sit-in movement is also under discussion of being removed. WUSA 9 was not able to independently confirm this alleged discussion, and multiple calls to the Smithsonian Institution and the National Museum of African American History and Culture were not returned. While we were there Saturday, nothing about the historic lunch counter appeared different or altered.
It was all about someone being against diversity.
President Donald Trump signed an executive order in March demanding that, quote, improper, divisive, or anti-American ideology be removed from the Smithsonian Institution. That order singles out the National Museum of African American History and Culture as problematic.
Most unfortunate directive, order.
And visitors we spoke with Saturday say they are stunned.
I just feel like that's crazy, and he shouldn't do that because us black people ourselves came a long way, and that's like taking a big part of our culture away.
It's very frustrating. I'm glad I had my glasses on because I didn't want my children to see the emotion that was driven up.
Now, Dr. Amos says this makes him nervous for the future of the museum. We have reached out directly to the museum and the Smithsonian, but haven't heard back just yet. Alexis Wainwright, WUSA 9.
We've done a lot of reporting on the National Museum of African American History and Culture. We've highlighted some of the artifacts from our area that are housed there, including the Jones Hall Sims House, better known as the Freedom House from Poolesville, Maryland, which represented a turning point after the civil rights era, or Civil War, we should say, when African Americans began owning their own property. You can see our prior reporting on our website. That's WUSA9.com.
Brown further states that he left the articles to the Smithsonian in 2016. He said the museum always gave him the option of donating the books permanently or renewing the loan, but this time he was not asked. It is downright dishonest and it is demeaning, Brown said. I hope the people of goodwill, of conscience, and common sense will rise up and say, we need to stop this. Jeff Anderson, a tourist from Louisiana, hoped to see the museum before any changes were made. It's a shame that fear of black people finding out their history has caused that kind of thing. You know, Anderson said. Others who have visited the museum before the removals can point out the recent changes. Aaron Weaver, a Virginia resident, said the Smithsonian board needs to step up, plain and simple. I know certain exhibits that were there and now they're missing, like Nat Turner's Bible was one, Weaver said, adding that he was unable to see the Greensboro artifacts aside from a digital display. Linda St. Thomas, the Smithsonian Institution's chief spokesperson, released a statement in response to visitors seeing artifacts being removed from exhibits. Quote, the Greensboro, North Carolina lunch counter is not leaving the Smithsonian. It is on display at the National Museum of American History, where it has been for many years. The National Museum of African American History and Culture also has 2 stools from the original counter. One is on exhibit at all times. The other rotates. It rotates in so that they can be properly preserved. The Bible and book that belongs to Reverend Brown of San Francisco, who generously loaned them to the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture for an exhibition. The loan agreement expires in May, and the items are being returned to the owner, which is standard museum practice. The curator called and wrote it to Reverend Brown. Well, as we just heard, the receipt says he got an email and he didn't ask for them back and he didn't want them back. So, Linda, tell the truth. Or as my mom says, tell the truth or shame the devil, Linda. Anywho, let's keep reading. With regard to the loan, NMAAHC added, as part of our commitment to responsible stewardship, we will continue to honor all loan agreements, including the timely return of objects. These will be going back to the owner. Now, does that make sense? Because I am sure that there are so many people who have loaned this museum many artifacts. Now, if you take out what's being loaned or given to the museum, what do you have? You don't have it. You have nothing. You will not have a museum. I actually receive emails myself on what's needed or what can I donate. So if you're already doing that, then explain a little further, please. Explain. Let me know in my email. Please let me know in my email, what do you need my money for? You need the money to keep going. You need the artifacts and objects loaned or given to this museum to keep it alive and to keep it as beautiful as it is and not to erase history. And what is being done right now is that you are trying to whitewash our history. And guess what? You can't. You can't wash out African American history, African American experience. This is an experience of a lifetime, especially to our children. You know why? Because they are not going to teach anything in schools that is in that museum. And I can further tell you how I know, because I was a teacher, and that is not in the plan book. No, sorry. None of that is in the planning book as to what to teach. So now let me finish reading the article. What's being done is trying to whitewash our history. Weaver said, you can't wash out African American experience because our experience is the American experience. Boom! I love it. I'm going to read it one more time. What's being done is trying to whitewash our history. You can't wash out African American experience because our experience is the American experience. For the people in the back, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know, have you ever been to this museum? Do you want to go to the museum? What do you think about Trump trying to remove artifacts from the museum? Do you even care? Just let me know in the comments. And to my subscribers who have been rocking with me from day one, because I am slowly but surely building a great community, I truly thank each and every one of you. I cannot do this without you. So, if you have not subscribed, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Like, share the video, and comment. Love you all. Be safe.